Es uno de los nombres del momento. Después de encontrar su sitio en Londres, tras cambiar múltiples veces de equipo, el destino tenía una última carta guardada para él. Sin embargo, esta era positiva, y Sam Dekker se ha convertido en la punta de lanza del Joventut Badalona. En esta entrevista se abre con Gigantes en profundidad sobre su carrera, la salud mental y la cara B del profesionalismo. Si has llegado hasta aquí, recuerda suscribirte, darle al like y dejarnos un comentario. Una entrevista que hicimos antes de la Copa del Rey, que se realizó justo después del final de la primera vuelta y que está íntegramente en inglés subtitulado al castellano. Esperamos que os guste. Estamos aquí en el Olympic de Badalona con Sam Dekker para una entrevista súper interesante que ya habréis visto los que os hayáis comprado la revista del mes de febrero de Gigantes del Básquet. Sam, thank you for having us. You are having an amazing season here in Badalona. How do you feel? Just to start the interview, how do you feel about this place and this team?
No, I feel good. It's been a good transition for me, going from one place to the next. That's never easy, but the team has been really welcoming. Has brought me in with open arms, as we say back home, and been very, very good to me. So we've been having a good last month and a half, and personally, I feel very confident. It took me a couple weeks to get comfortable, but I think we found a good little rhythm here, a good groove, and I feel like I'm playing some of the best basketball that I've played in a while. So it's been exciting.
I want to start this conversation speaking about your beginnings in basketball. You're from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You were one of the best players in your state back then. In one of the best, even in your class in high school.
Yeah.
It was like 19 rank, if I can remember well. I remember preparing this interview with your buzzer beater when you were in high school.
Yeah.
And you were one of the most important players to win that state championship.
Yeah.
How's your memories from that time, that type of basketball, your personal growth? Have you reached those expectations that you have when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I think yes and no. Dating back to even when I was a little kid, I remember I was in second grade, so 7 years old, 8 years old, and we had to write in our book in school what we wanted to be when we grew up, and I said that I wanted to be a professional basketball player. And my teacher said, that's great, but like you should write about a real job. And I remember being very upset because I was just like, that is a real job. That's going to be my job, and so that's the only plan I ever really had. I didn't have a plan B. I just wanted to be a basketball player, and that drove me to continue to work really hard. And I always talk about my brother and my dad, who are huge influences to me. My brother's 6 years older than me, so he was always bigger than me and better than me, so I always wanted to be like him, and he never took it easy on me. He always beat me 11-0, 21-0, and that made me better because he was big and an amazing basketball player as well. So having him and my dad as my coach helped me so much, and that buzzer beater was probably one of the best basketball memories you could ever come up with, because my dad was the head coach in my small school, our first championship ever, and making the game-winning shot, and that was at the arena where I then went to school at Wisconsin the next year. So everything was kind of connected and very special for our community and our city. So those are memories that I will cherish forever.
For what I could research for this interview, you're still very connected to Wisconsin and your town. If I say it in a bad way, Sheboygan.
Yes,
I was starting to say it properly.
Yeah,
Sheboygan.
Yeah.
In particular, what makes that city so special for you? More than you are from there.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, it's home, but growing up there is they love sports. They love basketball. They love American football. They love baseball. We're very close to our two biggest cities, Milwaukee and Green Bay, and we're right there in the middle. Passionate sports fans. it's a place you want to be as a basketball player in the summers because the weather's so beautiful. You got the beaches, and my wife and I just bought a home there. And that's where we want to raise our family. And it's a community that's done so much for me. All my friends and family are still back there, and it's where I learned everything. It's where I learned how to play ball, learn how to play baseball, learn how to play. Everything was there, and there's something about your hometown that they embraced me. I was the first NBA player from Sheboygan. We had another guy from Kohler, which is right up the street, who actually passed away this past year, Joe Wolf, who was a big influence for a lot of people in our area. So I think that's the cool thing about our hometown is when there's somebody that's creating a new level or reaching new heights, instead of trying to pull them down, the community raises them up and really embraces them. And still, when I go back, kids talk to me and families come up to me, and that means a lot because to know I have some influence is a special feeling.
That's wonderful. You stayed in Wisconsin in college. Mm-hmm. I was researching for this interview, and I discovered that someone in Marquette say that you lack athleticism. You lack of athleticism for big East basketball. Yeah. What would you say to that person right now?
Well,
after all these years.
Yeah, right. Honestly, I would say no hard feelings because it's hard. Recruiting is hard. I remember that was one game. I was, I think, 16, and Marquette was, another big basketball school back home. There was an assistant coach or someone who went to one game. He saw one game, and I didn't have my best game, and I think, you have to make a judgment at times, like, is he ready? And at that time, I was probably, looking skinny and having a tough game, getting pushed around, and the funny thing about that is my athleticism became my strongest part of my game, especially in high school and college, being able to run and jump and dunk over people and be quick. That was my biggest thing. And then going to play in the Big Ten, which was the best basketball conference in the country, there was really no way you could say that I wasn't ready. I went to the school I wanted to be at, and that's no hard feelings. Wisconsin fans listening to this would probably hate this, but I cheer for Marquette at times when I have friends that went there. I know a lot of guys that went there. If they're playing Wisconsin, obviously not, but I have no hard feelings towards Marquette at all.
I would like to talk about your NBA career. You started in Boston, then traded to
Houston.
Houston. You started in Houston, then traded to LA for Chris Paul. Yeah. Then you traded for Cass to Cleveland, just to move again to Washington. How is it possible to live like that?
It's hard.
Changing your life so quickly, moving across the country with your family. I can't even think about it.
Yeah, it's really. It was a tough. It was a tough hand to be given. Not many guys in the NBA would last in the NBA with the same situation, right? A lot of guys get 2, 3, 4 years in the same place to work into the system and work into the rotation. My rookie season, think about first round pick, expected to help. I have back surgery. We fire our head coach 11 games into the season. So 2 coaches, a surgery. I go to the G League. We fire the coach, JB Bickerstaff, at the end of the year, hire Mike D'Antoni. New system, new everything. I had a good year my second year. And that's the reason I was in the Chris Paul trade, because they wanted some young talent. Me and Montrezl Harrell, along with Lou Williams and Pat Beverly. Clippers needed bench help, so go there. Doc Rivers, new system. I don't play great because it's a way different system. Get traded. We kind of agreed that it wasn't working. No hard feelings towards Doc, but we were like, Cleveland actually had a need for me. I go there. Was playing well, get hurt, traded again. So it's like I've had so many coaches, I've had so many situations where I feel like I've had to prove myself, and where I couldn't get comfortable, couldn't feel like I had stability. And that's the biggest thing about the NBA, about basketball, is like feeling comfortable, feeling like you have stability, feeling like you can breathe if you don't have a good game. And in these situations, I just felt like I'm just always climbing uphill and couldn't get my footing, and ended up having to go overseas and prove myself. And still, that's a hard job because it's usually one-year contracts and learning how a certain coach wants to play. And it wasn't until I went to London and where I really was able to take that next step of just being like, here's who I am, take it or leave it, but I'm going to play my game, and I've thrived since then.
It has to be so difficult, if I put myself in your skin, to be in a situation like changing the way that you see the game, or changing or maturing at the same time while you were like 20, 22 years old. So I can imagine how difficult is that while trying to do the only thing that you know, and the best thing you know in life.
And it's hard doing it also in the most difficult league in the world. I'm trying to play against, James Harden and Blake Griffin, and playing against these guys and Paul George, and then at the same time I just got traded, so I'm trying to find a house, trying to find a car, trying to get my wife, or at the time my girlfriend, out to find us a new place, but she's also back in Houston or LA putting things in boxes, waiting for the moving company to come, and then at the same time having to go perform and prove myself on the court, and just trying to balance these things is so difficult. And especially in-season trades are so hard on families, on players, especially young players, because they don't have all the resources yet. And it's being asked to do that at 23 years old, 22 years old is a lot to ask. And I'm proud of the way I've handled that stuff, but it has not been an easy road at all.
Now that have passed so years, you are a established player in Europe. Do you see yourself coming back to the US, like for example Dante Exum with the Mavericks, Gerson Yabusel, or even cases like PJ Tucker or Pat Beverly? Or do you see staying here in Europe or elsewhere?
Well, the dream is always to be in the NBA. My first stint overseas was in Russia, and then I went to Turkey, and then I got signed by Toronto. And feeling like I made it back was an unbelievable feeling. It took a lot of work and patience, and I basically went to Toronto.
To play in December.
Well, I went to like almost a tryout, and like literally was just like, here I am, just like watch me, please. And I was there with them for 3 days, and I went home, and they called my agent and said, could Sam come back next week? Went for 3 days, went home, they called my agent, can Sam come next week again? And they kept asking me to come back because they wanted to see, is this real? Is he playing this well every day? And I felt so good, so confident. And then, we got a deal done, and I spent the entire summer with them. Made the team, made the roster, made the first, it was frustrating because there was something in my contract that made it available for them to save some money after a couple months into the season. And unfortunately they cut me, which was another tough one to handle. And this past summer, again, I went home and I tried out for multiple teams and played well. I thought I played well enough. It's just right now it's so hard to get back in. There's so many good players. There's not many roster spots. There's not enough money now on certain teams. So it's a situation where you got to just keep trying and give it your best. All it takes is one team to want you, but it's not an easy field to get back into. But that's still the dream. I still feel like I'm a really good basketball player, and I'm going to continue to do my best.
Let's talk about the present. You mentioned Russia, Turkey, London. Now you're in Spain. It seems, you said before, like London was your home, or it was your new home after a long time. What changed? What made you look at other places like here we are in Badalona?
Yeah, so the London Lions were owned by an American corporation out of Miami, Florida, and they ran into some financial troubles last year, and we heard some things might happen, things might change, but we didn't know the extent of it. But I had a guaranteed contract for 3 more years. I signed an extension, so I approached the summer the same way. I'm gonna, talk to NBA teams, but then I'm gonna report for training camp in August, just like everyone else, and I did that. And there was still some transition of rumors of someone buying the Lions, and it ended up being the Žalgiris group in Lithuania, who own Žalgiris in Kaunas. Obviously a very well-respected group, but due to the financial burden that the situation with the group in Miami put on London Lions and also the league in England, they implemented a salary cap. So that salary cap, with my contract, we couldn't fulfill me being on the court. So I had to sit and wait for a team that had an opening. And it was a long 3 months. It was in London working out by myself, and came here in November and was out of shape, and tried to fit in.
No one can tell that.
We watched some film today, of my third game here, and I was like, I looked slow and just like out of rhythm. But once you start, once you calm down and get back in shape, now I feel great, and I'm very glad to be here. The team has been a great opportunity for me, and to prove myself in Spain, a very respected league around Europe. Showing myself on this stage, I think, has opened some eyes, and I feel really, really confident here in the way I'm playing. So, it doesn't. At the point of my career, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm going to play my game and live with the results.
We are talking just a few weeks after the news of your resigning with Joventut until the end of the season. I know it's always hard for players to talk about these topics with all the rumors, with all the media, but what was the main reason for you to stay here, to complete the season with Joventut?
I think kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier, just some stability. Like, to move again for the third time this year with a 2-year-old and my wife, who's also working, is not easy. And then I had just, once my contract was supposed to be up, I had just started feeling like, okay, I understand everything with the system. The guys understand how I play. The coach knows what to expect out of me. The fans have been really welcoming and are enjoying. And we were playing really, we had won at one point 8 or 9 straight ACB games. Why would I want to change? Why would I want to change that and let that go? So, it's been a good match. I think my game fits the way we want to play, and like I've said it 1,000 times, I feel very comfortable right now here in this historic club. So, I'm excited to be here to the end of the year. Hopefully, we can make a run at King's Cup, and who knows, we've had one of our best starts in club history, so we're going to try to keep that going.
You mentioned stability as one of the keys. How it was for you to live in a situation like this, extending the contract month by month, because it's very strange for a professional player of your caliber to be like, I don't know if I will be playing next month here.
Right, well, that was the weird thing. It was like, there was parts of that was like, kind of, I don't know. It's weird.
It's like playing take by take.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how you guys say it here, but like we say, like double-edged sword. So like one side of it is like, oh, if I play bad, like it's okay, like didn't work, whatever. But then the other side of it is like, if I play bad, are they going to be like, see you later? But if you play good, you feel like, okay, I need to do that again. So it's a little stressful, but at the same time, you kind of understand, just like, do your best and live with the results. And I've played so much basketball now in my career. I'm 30 now. Like, I wasn't losing sleep over one bad practice or one bad game. It's a tough situation to come in and try to be perfect. I always try my best to be perfect. I'm not going to be, but I was confident in whatever happened would be the right thing, and turns out, I'm here in a great place for the rest of the year. It's worked out well, and the hard work is paying off.
We were talking about the stability, this is very hard to live, but do you think athletes receive the appropriate mental health during the season? Because it depends on the situation, obviously, because the coach is pushing you, the GM is pushing you, your GM is pushing you, the fans are pushing you, you even maybe are
push yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How did you learn during this time to manage that?
Oh, not well. This one was tough. If I can be very honest, this one was really hard. I think I've struggled a lot mental health wise, or like with anxiety due to all the moving. I've been injured so many times. I've been traded so many times. I've been sent to a new country so many times that you really form some anxiety.
You doubt of yourself.
Yeah, or like just moving so much and trying to establish yourself as a pro and be one of the best players in the world, and also trying to give your family and your wife the life that you want to give them. That's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself, and as a man, you kind of just keep that to yourself. And the London situation, I thought, oh my gosh, we can be here 4 years, like no moving. Finally, I can play the way I want. I can try to win games. I can be there with my wife and my family. Everyone's happy. And when that gets pulled away from you, it was almost like I would almost like laugh. Like, of course, like I've been hurt, I've been traded, I've been cut, but I've never had a situation now like with the ownership problem. And of course, so yeah, it was one of those things. Like, of course. And I got here, I was alone, and my wife was at home, stressed, trying to move us out of London, and coming here with new guys. I don't know anyone. I don't know the team. I don't know anyone's name. I play the day I get here. I play a Euro Cup game, and I think there was so much at one time that like the next week I had like a full-on like breakdown. I had like an anxiety attack, and I had to like go see some. I took a couple days off. Like I felt completely off. And then so they let me go back to London for a couple days to see my family, which I appreciated so much. And that kind of helped me get back to normal. And then they came with me, and then I was much better after that. But that was weird. I never really had a full-on like panic attack like that before, and it happened. And like I knew like I need to take care of my mental health like before I get on the court, and that's been good for me, and it's helped me. Now I'm playing really, really well. It's because I'm at peace mentally and just working on that every day.
Yeah, sometimes you need like to, I don't know how to say in English, put your feet on the ground to grow up at that. So
yeah, it was kind of, you're right. Like I just needed to like, I was like actually on the court at practice, and I just like walked off the court, and I like was like, I can't be here right now. Like mentally, this is not good for me. Something's gonna happen in front of the guys. Like, so I just left. I texted the coach. I said, I'm sorry, I'll be back. And I left for two days, and we were in contact the whole time, but I just said, something's wrong. And they were great about it. Came back, everything was good.
Take a break.
Yeah, and it was FIBA. It was during FIBA break, so like we had no games. So it was perfect time to just like collect myself, collect my thoughts, my emotions, and then I came back, and then everything was fine, and I've been playing great since. So I just needed to kind of press the reset button, you know.
To talk about different things, more happy. Well, it's important. I mean, but
for me, it helps. Like, and I know a lot of basketball players deal with the same things. So like, if anyone can be like, oh, I know that feeling. Like that's what it's okay to talk about.
It's very important to an athlete to open up.
Right.
So clear. It's hard for me to change the
You're
topic.
good, you're good.
As we speak, you are one of the names of the season. Instant impact on the team, despite you think you were slow. Or big numbers, remarkable performances. Why does it look so easy for you to fit in Joventut?
Well, I think
Despite what we were talking
I think playing in so many different systems, you kind of just like become a sponge of basketball. Like it's gotten to the point now I've played in so many different situations where I have picked, okay, that works, that doesn't work. So like, let's simplify the game and use, for me, it was kind of like, what am I good at? Let's be like top 1% at that. What am I not so good at? Let's just get a little better at those things and then continue to like get those things I'm not as good at a little closer to what I'm very good at, like every day. And, you know, I have a Gunner person, his name is Gunner, back home. We just broke down some film a couple summers ago, and it was like 3 summers ago, and it was just like, you're very good at this, you're not very good at this, like let's every day, like let's work on these things. And basketball started to make way more sense because I was simplifying things. I figured out where I can attack at all times. I figured out where I can cut, where I can space, and you know, just repeatedly day after day after day doing that made the game feel way easier. And that next year I went to Turkey. Season I went to Turkey, and you know, 46% from three, like my best ever. Got back to the NBA, like just felt like I was had a new level of confidence that I never had before. And since then, I've just repeated that every summer, and to just like work on the things that I know that in these games are going to be asked of me. And that's why the game feels easy now, is because there's no situation I haven't practiced 1,000 times and visualized, and then after games go back and I watch it. And you know, once you get to that level as a player, you know, 10 years in as a pro, you know, even if you're having your worst game ever, you can fall back on some things that you feel you can do pretty well. So and I was able to translate well here with the way we played, and I feel very good.
As we speak, Joventut will play the Kings Cup in mid-February. The people will read at the beginning of the month this interview. But it's a cliche, but everything is possible on that tournament. What are your expectations looking at the bracket?
Well, we play Unicaja first, which is a good team. But it's a one-game tournament. You know, single game elimination. Anything can happen. You know, single game, that's like NCAA tournament. You know, and I went to the Final Four 2 times. I know how hard it is to win these tournaments. But that's the fun part about it. You know, like if you go in there playing well and making shots and the other team is struggling, like you can find yourself in the championship, and all of a sudden it's anyone's game. So obviously you're not going to go to Gran Canaria and not expect to win the whole thing. So obviously we want to go there with the expectation to win it all. We're going to give our best effort. If we don't win it all, someone else will. And that's how basketball works. So yeah, I want to go there to win it. And if you don't want to win it, don't get on the flight.
I would like to ask you one last question. Very short, but very lively, like everything, like this interview. What does it mean, basketball, according to Sam Dekker?
Oh man, basketball means to me. I just think of the word opportunity comes to my brain. I saw a quote that it was what. It's hard to put it in word, like basketball. You know, it's a sphere, right? Just like the world, and it can take you all over the world, and it can show you different things that you never thought you'd see before. So yeah, the things it's shown me and given me and the people it's helped me meet is unbelievable, and it's an equal opportunity sport for everybody, whether you're short or tall, rich or poor, from America or from Spain or from Turkey. Like the game can take you places, and that's what's so cool about it. So to me, it's my life, and it's given me unbelievable opportunities, just like talking to you. So no, I appreciate it. That's a good question. I'm going to think about that one when I go home. I'm going to think about that one, and thank you for asking that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for this interview to open up with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, and good luck for the season.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, man. Yep.